Not that voice. Any voice but that. I don't like that voice one bit.
Come on, just let it go and see if anybody in the chat can figure out who I am.
I don't like this. I'm not a fan. I gotta say.
You don't
Like, if
like
it was
it.
one of the other voices,
turns
I
you
might
on, and you're
be a little
uncomfortable
better with
because you know who's behind this voice. That's why you don't like it.
Well, I know who it is.
Who is it?
I know because your badonkadonk picture.
It's me, bitch.
You're the only one that likes him that thick. You're the only one that looks at that and says, "Ooh, yeah."
Oh, honey, it's okay.
Damn it, no.
Don't be afraid of it. It'll come for you.
I hate you.
Nope. This is so wrong. This is so wrong.
You want me to just back right up on it?
Yeah. Can you back up on it, please? Can you sit on it?
Duke, I'm coming for you.
Oh, no.
Oh no. You guys see what's going on in Los Angeles, California? I think this should be the head of the line of people that you deport. Anyone holding a Mexican flag right here?
Yep.
I think you just volunteered to be first, right? It's like, hey, we need someone to go first. Oh, here's a group. And this isn't the only one. There's protests that are turning violent across the country right now. Weird. As soon as Trump gets in office, all of a sudden there's violence from the left? I thought the number one threat to our entire society, our entire civilization, was the violence and the hatred of white men.
You know, sometimes I like a little violence.
God fucking damn it. I can't even be serious. And this after half their fucking city burnt down, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Your whole fucking city burnt down. You're like, this is our country. This is our country. We belong to be here. And I'm like, no, you don't. I don't know, man. Maybe some of them do. Maybe some people who work hard and do shit right and have families and, you know, like I'm not against everybody, you know, but there are a certain percentage of these people who are the type who would like put on a fucking Mexican flag poncho and wave a sign in the street and shut down the streets in a country that you don't even fucking have citizenship in, when you should be thanking the goddamn lucky stars above that you have any fucking right to be here at all in the first place, and fucking doing everything that you can to not lose that ability to stay here. And yet here they are, volunteering to be first in line. That's how I see it. I'm sure there's a fair amount of American citizens who are in this group, and we call them retards. So you're either a foreigner who should be kicked out or a retard.
I mean, I personally think you should just kick out all the foreigners and the retards.
Like there should be an island somewhere?
Like, I mean, most of the retards are on the left anyway, so, like, if we just kick them all out, it'd be a better place for everybody.
We got a fair amount on our side, too, to be fair, to be honest.
Yeah, but we can afford to lose them.
Yeah, like, no one would be sad if, like, the right-leaning retards got...
Nah, nobody cares.
Yeah. I mean, not that no one cares, it's just... It's an acceptable loss. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
By the way, is this better?
It's better than your that thing. Your Southern woman voice is throwing me off. I don't like it one bit. Like, hey, sweetie, how you doing? Look at my badonkadonk.
Am I roboting a little bit? I feel like I might be roboting.
Now you sound like Jolly now.
Yeah, it's exactly like Jolly.
Hey, did you watch that new anime?
Yeah,
it's great. It's about a girl and her pet butterfly, and they go to a haunted house or some shit.
Wow, that's disturbing how close it is.
It's like Jolly's in the room. How is Jolly, by the way? I haven't heard from him in a hot minute.
I haven't either.
Does he have a girlfriend now, or is he still? Did he still go to college to work at a fucking forklift?
Okay, how's that?
That's better.
There we go.
Because
I'm
that was
sorry,
the
I got a new voice thing I'm playing with. So
thing. I see that. We all. Is he still working at that fucking place, running a forklift?
from what I heard, he said that like he was actually doing really well there and getting promoted and stuff. So I mean, I assume he's still working there.
It's just funny how you go to school to college for 4 years to get a degree in like film or something. What was his degree in?
Yeah, something about movies. I don't know exactly what, but yeah.
And now he runs a forklift.
Yep.
And he make fun of me for being a waiter. That's all I gotta say. Yeah, dude, fucking shit's going down. Not only there, look at Salem. This is Salem, Oregon, where my friend lives. Apparently this turned slightly violent. The protest that turned into a... I don't know how much of a riot it was, but... Man, if that was... what was that chick who got shot in D.C.? They'd already be shot.
Ashley Babbitt.
Yeah. Oh my god, bro. Yeah, dude. Again, all of these people just volunteered to be the first people of Salem, Oregon to be kicked out of the country, in my opinion. Ooh, I could spend hours just looking at this.
Mm-hmm. I love that picture.
Although you have to like a Star Destroyer is like this little tiny fucking thing right here.
Yeah. That's a great picture. That's been around for a few years. I don't know who put it together, but they did a great job on that. It's got stuff from Star Trek, Star Wars, Warhammer, like V, Independence Day. I think Lex is on there.
Which one's Independence Day?
I think that's that big ship right there in the middle.
This one right here?
Yeah.
Okay. What is this bug thing?
Is
that from StarCraft? The Leviathan?
Maybe? I don't know. And then isn't that V'ger right there underneath the big one underneath? Is
This
that
one?
V'ger? Or is that V'ger or is that the probe from Star Trek 4?
No, the probe from Star Trek 4 looks more like a fucking turd.
Yeah, that's true.
With like weird turd edges. It's got like turds all over it. It's made of turd, I know that.
And then that big triangle one is Halo.
Wait, where's the triangle one?
The big 3-pointed triangle looking thing right there to the right towards the bottom.
Oh, this guy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's that Halo Forerunner ship.
Dude, where's the Halo fucking ring?
It's too big. Yeah. I mean, it's the size of a planet. So
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Duke's already yawning.
No, I'm here, baby.
Oh,
No, it was me.
Duke, you understand I'm going to keep your ass up, right?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm right here.
No, I don't mean now.
Oh, you mean like in my life? Yes, I know. I thought about this. My wife brought it up. She's like, doesn't he like terrify you all the time? I'm like, yeah. She's like, he's gonna live like down the street. He's just gonna drive over and like harass you. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, he's probably gonna make content out of it. It'll go viral. Like, it's gonna be a horrible life.
I hope everything that you just said comes to fruition.
It will.
When's the big move? Dude, okay, so we were talking about you moving the other day, and now I'm getting all of these advertisements. Like every time I get a YouTube like video advertisement, it's like, moving to a new state is hard. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, bro, I'm not even fucking moving. We were just talking to my friend about him moving.
Dude, I mean, I've been getting them all the time for truck rentals and people to help you pack and all kinds of stuff. I'm getting stuff left and right, but yeah, like here is look at my room.
Oh my god,
Like
it's like you're naked. Hold on, let me make you big. Let me fluff you up real quick.
oh yeah, look at
Oh
that.
man, you only have like
It's
5 days
fucking
left.
empty. It's like fucking empty in here. My room is just shelves, mostly empty shelves right now. So
Damn, bro.
basically everything, most of the stuff is in the garage waiting. We're picking up the truck next Monday on the 10th and then loading it up and trying to be on the road by the 11th, but it may be the 12th. I don't know. Just depends on how long it takes to get everything together. So,
Bro, you're just like, you went from like 0 to 100-mile-an-hour wheelie on this moving thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Well, Godspeed. I hope everything goes well on the move.
Yeah.
It's always a
hell of a
bitch,
move.
dude.
I'm driving a
Especially kids.
26-foot truck plus a car. I'm fucking towing my wife's car behind it.
They're driving up or are they flying up?
They're driving up. They're following me.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
So yeah, we rented the biggest truck you can get from budget and plus a car hauler for the back so that we can haul my wife's car.
What are they? Are they taking the Honda?
No. I'm selling the Honda.
You're selling the Honda?
Yeah.
How dare you?
I can't take it. I don't have enough people to drive all those vehicles up there because I'm going to be driving a fucking truck with all the shit in it. I'm selling it to a family member.
Well, at least it's staying in the family.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So family member's going to buy it after I've done all the work to it. But yeah.
That's cool, man.
So we're taking the Suburban, the motorcycles, my wife's Honda or my wife's Nissan Rogue, and then my son's bringing his car.
Jacoboo says, Jesus, never enough ammo. Looks like he's been going out of business.
Dude, everything's packed. The only thing in this room that's not packed is my shit here with my computers and the shelves. Like but I'm waiting on that shit because I got lights and shit hooked up to them. So I'm going to do that last minute.
What about all the guns?
Well, the gun safes are here. Yeah. I got to pull the guns out and
That's
put 'em
always
in
such a
cases
bitch.
and shit.
Because you got to like walk back and forth to the truck like 10 times looking around. Like, is anyone seeing my fucking arsenal here? No? Okay.
Not where I live, not loading them up. Unloading them, yes. Unloading them where I live, I have neighbors on both sides. Here, I don't. So
Yeah.
I live at the end of a street around a corner, and my house is the only house around the corner. So, like, there's nobody. I can do whatever the hell I want out here now. But getting up there, yeah, the house we're living at, I got neighbors on both sides. So,
Dude, when I moved into this place, I brought in my guns so incognito that no one even knows that I have them, and that's the way I want to keep it.
well, we'll see. I don't know. Duke can help me hide them. Duke's going to help me move, right, Duke?
That's right, baby. I'll be there.
All right.
Little
said he
Duke
was
will be there holding stuff.
Yeah. He
Well,
said
I'm gonna
he's gonna
show up.
move everything in the house.
Yeah, I'll help you, Lou. Take care of you. That's right. man.
So, yeah, I got the truck for 7 days before I have to return it. So, hopefully, we'll get the truck on Monday, and I just got to return it to the place in Michigan by the following Monday.
Stephen Carroll says, I was at my cousin's house and my girlfriend said she liked their curtains. I'm literally getting ads for the exact same pattern. Dude, I hate that shit. Or, like, for me, they're always, like, retarded about it. It's, like, something that I wouldn't even buy because I already bought it, right? Like, I did my taxes. And now every other fucking thing is like, oh, have you heard of Tax Slayer? Like, yeah, bitch, I paid for your service 3 weeks ago. You can stop wasting your advertisement money on me because you already had me sold. Like, it's fine. You can chill out.
Oh, I did the same thing because I just did my taxes like 4 days ago, and I'm getting nothing but tax ads now. I'm like, I just fucking did it. Like,
no, dude,
I'm done. Like, you don't need to fucking. I'm the wrong person to gear your advertisement at now.
Yeah, like if it was like during when I'm getting ready to do my taxes and I've got my things in front of me, and then you pop up like a TurboTax advertisement. Even though I'm not going to do it because I already have my shit, like all my fucking information saved on another site, at least it was an honest chance, you know?
Yeah.
When I've already paid for and filed my taxes and am waiting for a return, your advertisements are a waste of money and time.
Yeah. Well, it's like all the ones I got. I started getting all the moving ads after I rented the truck from Budget. Like I've done that already, dude. Like it's done. Like,
dude, if I was paying, if like I had some truck rental service and I'm paying Google Ads to put ads on things so that people rent my trucks, and they keep putting my ads that I'm paying for on people's feed after they buy the truck already,
yeah,
I would be upset. It's like you're just wasting my money. You're just telling, you're advertising to people. Sure, yeah, people are seeing it. Sure, yeah. After they already spent their money and don't want to look at that shit anymore, you're telling them all about my service. Good job, you fuck nuts. Jesus Christ! It's like you hired kids with Down syndrome to fucking go door to door for me. Anyway. Colorado state legislature this week called for the arrest of 2 9 News journalists and social media posts. Yeah, that's right. They probably did because 9 News in Denver. I don't know how 9 News or whatever the fuck it is where you guys are at is, but they're so incredibly biased that this is a picture. I forget the guy's name. He was a protester.
We saw that, like, what was that, 2-3 years ago?
Yeah. And Kyle Clark is the guy who was the reporter on the scene. This is his bodyguard who shot dead this guy because reasons, and because it's like liberal Denver, and this guy's the liberal, and Kyle Clark is like the mouthpiece of the liberal New World Order. No one ever got charged with the crime. Nothing ever happened. Anyone else would have done this in Denver, you'd be in jail. This guy walking scot-free. So yeah, fuck 9 News. This really makes me want a dog. Go hunting with. Look at these good boys. Look, he's got one right next to him, and he's like, nope, it's right there. You don't have to get it. And they're like, I want to get it. I want to get it. I want to get it. I want to get it.
No. Here, shut up. Luna.
Those are good dogs.
Those are great dogs.
Oh, what's up, Z? How you doing?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for asking.
Your 72 hours straight of work done?
Oh.
Yes.
Dude, how awesome would this be to go like hunting with shotguns and dogs and killing grouse or pheasants or whatever the fuck these things are? I'd eat that. I don't care if it was in a dog's mouth. I just saw that. I thought it was neat. Here's the southern border right now. Look at this. I like that song.
What state is that in?
I don't know. I would assume this is the Rio Grande, yeah.
Okay. I'm just asking. I didn't know. I can't tell if it's El Paso or...
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's not Tijuana, probably.
I know Texas was putting buoys back in the water again. Like they did, and then Biden got in office, and they said that it was like unconstitutional to put buoys in water or something. And then they took them out. And now Trump's back in office, and Texas is putting the buoys back in the water so people can't swim across.
Well, the thing was is not only it coincided with Trump getting back in office, but Texas had actually won the court case saying that they could do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and
ultimately,
it's buoys with razor wire on it.
Right. Yeah. But whose job is it to secure the border? Is it Texas's job to secure the border? No, it's the federal government's job. And if the federal government specifically is doing everything that they can to not do their job and let people in, then, like, thank God Texas was trying to do something. I mean, I don't know if it was, like, humanitarian or whatever, you know, like, that could be argued. But the fact that they were, like, this is a problem, and we as a state are going to do something for the country to help it, to like help curb this problem. And then the courts step in, and the fucking, you know, the leftist crazy people step in and stop them from doing it. And it turns out that they had the right to do it the whole time, right? So here we are. But yeah, we were looking at Salem here a second ago. Yeah, here's Salem. This is your neck of the woods there, Z.
Yeah. I'm glad that you got that. Somebody else was trying to look at it and it got pulled.
Was this the same clip that you tried to send me?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Was this the worst of it? Was just them getting in people's faces and stopping traffic and shit?
Yeah.
Again, I mean, I think they're kind of putting themselves first in line if you're looking at who should we deport. Like, but as long as they're not being fucking violent, that's the main thing, dude. Because we have the right to protest in this country, to, you know, gather in groups, to petition the government to redress grievances. Like, it's all part of the First Amendment. And like it or not, and even if they're not citizens and they're here, as long as they're following the heart of the First Amendment when they're protesting, I think that they have at least the right to protest. Now, if it turns violent in any way, it's like, man, you really are putting yourself first in line, aren't you? But yeah, man, shit be cray.
Oh, Honda, did I tell you?
No.
I met a Jewish girl a couple days ago, and
like
she gave me her number, and I told her we use names now.
Jesus Christ, dude. I was like, I bet there's a joke coming here, but I didn't say it because I'm like, maybe, you know, maybe he's got something that's not. Of course it fucking was. We don't have the right to interfere with others when protesting. I don't know. That's arguable. Do you have the right to shut down like an intersection? And
They should.
No.
Yeah, they asked for the street to be shut down. It ended up being a moving protest. So the biggest issue was traffic got backed up on some main streets like Mission Street because they moved. So they had an area designated and then they wandered off to a non-designated area. And in Oregon, the right of way goes to the pedestrians. So there was just like 140 pedestrians marching. So you can't really do anything.
I know in certain states, because of recent things that have happened in the last couple of years with people walking out in traffic and stopping cars and pulling people out and beating them, that literally they've made it like legal. And I forget where this was. There was some state
Oklahoma
where they're like, yeah, man, if you hit the gas, it's okay. You feared for your life. Like, yeah, there are instances where it's like, bro, if you stop that truck right now, there's a good chance you might not see tomorrow. Like, it's a good idea to just, I mean, maybe not plow through the crowd, but definitely don't stop. Like,
In the last couple of months, Ohio's passed legislation. We can legally kill these people now.
all right, do you want to see why they really hate Kash Patel and why they don't want him to be the director of the FBI? I want you to hear it.
I'm not saying it's not there. Who are you going to get that?
For instance, who is currently holding, this is way off the topic, but who has Jeffrey Epstein's
Black Book?
Black Book?
FBI.
But who? That is, I mean, there's...
that's under direct control of the director of the FBI. Just like the manifesto from the Nashville school shooting of the Catholic school. We still haven't seen that, right? It's not the Nashville police or PD saying we don't want this out. The FBI airmailed into that operation and said this is not getting out. Because they do that because this is another government gangster operation. All these local law enforcement communities get funding from the DOJ and FBI for local programs. And if you don't cooperate, you're not getting your $1 million for this, and you're not getting and that's a lot of money to these local districts. That's how they play the game.
You know, it's the same.
That's true. So, and basically, he was saying that once he becomes director of the FBI, which at this point it looks like he's going to have the votes, the Democrats can't keep him out. So, that is our director of the FBI. And that gives me, honestly, bro, seeing Kash Patel in charge of the FBI for the first time in a very long time, I'm talking like since Waco, Texas, I actually have some trust and some hope that the future of our federal government and our law enforcement organizations within are actually going to be ran with integrity and go after the right people.
Let's hope so.
I don't know. There's a lot of talk going around about Trump's Department of Justice going after political enemies, right? But then they completely forget about the 1,500 January 6th defendants who basically didn't get their day in court. They were set in front of a kangaroo court with a judge who was biased against them, with prosecutors who were willing to bend and break rules to get them prosecuted, with jury pools that were 95% against the defendants from the get-go. And you can't find a jury pool in DC that's fucking not biased about these things. And then they wouldn't let them have continuance or go to a different district or have their court tried anywhere else. So these people just got steamrolled by the fucking federal government and spent years in prison. I mean, we've talked about it before. The dude who died in his fucking cell of bed bug bites waiting for his court date. It's insane. And not to mention other people who, like, you know, like the federal, and I don't know how many people this is, but the federal government came in and charged them with a bunch of shit. And then, you know, next thing you know, the wife leaves them and the kids are gone and things are bad and they kill themselves. It's not fucking uncommon. A lot of these people, a lot of the January 6th defendants, as a result of the government persecution of them, ended up taking their own lives before they even got to the point where Trump came in and fucking, you know, did anything about it. So all of the squawking, all of this fucking bird noise coming from the left about the fucking defendants from January 6th, as far as I'm concerned, can shut the fuck up. And I don't care what they say. I don't care what any of these people did. If we live in a country where you're supposed to have fucking rule of law and you're supposed to have a justice system that's held to a certain fucking standard, and I don't care if you're a fucking mass murderer or you ran a fucking stop sign, you get the same fucking day in court, you get the same defense, you get the same stringent fucking rules on the government so that they can't just come after your fucking rights and put you in a fucking cage until bed bugs take your fucking life, or you put a fucking gun in your mouth and end your own fucking life because your life is basically over anyway. It's not okay, and I'm not okay with anyone who fucking says anything other than that. Sorry, you got me going. I need a drink. I'll be right back. My throat's dry. Talk amongst yourselves.
I could use some fries or a wing right now because I'm hungry.
Anyway. So yeah, I mean, hopefully you're right. I mean, there's no guarantee here, but I have some hope that the FBI will be fixed from the top down at this point. Navy SEAL humiliates FBI official into utter silence for targeting Trump while ignoring Joe Biden's crimes.
Not the slightest. That's pretty sad, man. That really is.
So that's the highlight. That's what everything leads to. Let's watch.
And it really shows who your allegiances are to. It really does. And as somebody who served this country myself, I want to make a comment about something that one of my colleagues who just left the room said. You know, he made a reference to the former president of the United States and his family and their known business dealings in China and other places. You know, I found it interesting because one of the biggest differences between the Trump family and their foreign business dealings and the Biden family and their foreign business dealings is that the Trump family actually owns businesses. They actually own hotels and resorts, okay? pretty stark difference from what we're learning, what many of us knew, and now we're actually learning as the Oversight and Judiciary Committee actually get to bring in witnesses.
Right, but again, Trump gets and his family get targeted. Barron Trump's fucking underwear drawer went through by the FBI when they raided his house looking for fucking documents at Mar-a-Lago. Everyone on the left was okay with it. Everyone on the left was cheering this on, saying like, "Oh, it's great." Fucking news stations were outside of his house before it even happened. They were tipped off that this was going to happen, and they were there to record it so that they could get the humiliation on fucking TV. Right? It's all coordinated. It's all planned. They're all working together. And Biden's family, extended family, brother, son, everybody, have all been pardoned of crimes that they haven't even proved that they were part of yet. Hunter Biden got gone after by the Department of Justice under Joe Biden's fucking tenure as a show trial to show that they're, no one's above the law. What did they charge him for? Was it for the child porn? Was it for him hanging out and doing crack with underage girls that, like there were pictures of his on his laptop of? No, none of that was, it was some gun charge, some like petty gun charge where they threw a gun away in a fucking dumpster improperly. And they're like, oh, well, this is it. And, he lied on his 4473. So, that's like up to 2 years in prison. So we're going to get him for that. And then before he can even get fucking, put in jail or any consequences put upon him for any of this, he's pardoned for everything that he ever fucking did. So, yeah, I mean, there is a stark difference between some when Trump's doing some international thing and they're like people are coming in from Japan and staying at a fucking Trump resort while they're here and giving Trump money. Yeah, you probably shouldn't do that. Like there's some impropriety there going on. However, at least they're providing a service. At least it's an actual business with, employees and expenses and overhead and, trackable income and shit like that. Versus what Biden has been doing where like, oh yeah, I'll just send my son to go work for some Ukrainian fucking oil company, even though he knows nothing about Ukraine or oil. And they're going to pay him like $400,000 a month or whatever the fuck it was. And don't worry, only like 30% goes to the big guy, meaning Joe Biden. But none of this has ever gone through in court. And when the DOJ had Joe Biden in their crosshairs, thinking about charging him with crimes, what did they say? Does anyone remember? He's too old. And he's too senile. He doesn't really know. He's just a jolly old man. No one would convict him, so we're not even going to try. We're not going to look into it. We're not going to publish any of our findings. We're not going to tell anybody what he's actually been into. And he's going to be able to just fucking, pardon his way out of anything in the future. And his future's probably not very long, by the way, because how old is that motherfucker? But all of his kids and brother and, cousins and shit have fucking pardons. So, and that's part of the presidential fucking decree. That's part of the power that you have as president. But I don't think it was ever thought that you were going to use that power as president to benefit yourself and your family financially at the cost of the American people. It was more like to undo some fucking social injustice or something, under the previous administration or someone that, you had allegiance to who was charged with a political thing or whatever, you would get him out of prison. That would make sense. Or like commuting sentences after the Civil War. Like when the Civil War ended, there was a bunch of people who were charged with crimes that all got let go. And the thing was, they're just like, yeah, you can be let go, but you just can't run for office. We just don't want you to be in office. We don't want you holding power. And then they used that whole you came back from the Civil War, so it was an insurrection, so you can't have power if you did insurrection, right? Yeah, January 6th was never an insurrection. January 6th had nothing to do with insurrection. There was no plan. There was no fucking scenario under which on any fucking planet or in any fucking universe the actions of the people in the Capitol on January 6th would have led to the overthrow of the government and putting Trump into office. No one's ever spelled out how the fuck that was supposed to work. And yet that's what they're charged with. So, anywho, I've been talking a lot. You guys got anything to say?
Did you guys see the shit show that was the DNC last night?
Negative Ghost Rider.
Apparently, David Hogg is now one of the vice chairs for the DNC.
That makes sense. I mean, he's definitely he's done the things. He's bent the knee. He's kissed the ring. He's probably been to the island. Probably as a appetizer.
I think the reason why they were like Bidens were over there is for all the minerals and stuff and the titanium ore and things like that. It wasn't just tech stuff or just a missile place. It was also because all the natural resources that area has, similar to like Greenland, Canada.
Yeah, I get that. And for sure, the American people benefit from having some sort of a company or presence over in places like that to extract materials and bring them over. The problem is the nepotism. The problem is, oh, I'm in charge, so I get to decide who gets the bid. So, oh, look at that. Weird. It was my brother-in-law's company that got the bid. That's strange. Oh, well, like shit like that needs to not be part of the political system over here. And if there's even the image or the view or the possibility that is actually what's going on, like the opinion that there's some sort of impropriety going on, you should immediately recuse yourself from making any kind of decision like that whatsoever.
Isn't that kind of how all parties work, though? I mean, both sides do the same thing. When we went to, Desert Storm, Halliburton was owned by who? And all of our tanks and all of our stuff we sent over there was Halliburton. So, I mean, I think that's been in there for a long time. We just didn't start noticing it until recently.
Well, I think we've been noticing it for a long time. It's just there hasn't been the ability to say anything about it until recently. Like the podcast world and like the independent media world that we live in these days didn't exist 10 years ago, or at least it was in its infancy, and it was laughed at and it was mocked and it was ignored by the mainstream media. And there's a certain number of people that if it's not on CNN or if it's not on ABC, it doesn't exist. If they're not talking about it and you're in the loony bin because you're talking about some crazy left field shit that I've never even heard of. And I've watched CNN every day. That's the fucking attitude. And we're starting to overcome that because less and less people are like trust mainstream media. I think mainstream media's like trust in our country is at an all-time low. It's in the 30%, something like 38%. It's the lowest it's ever fucking been, dude. Yeah. And there's a reason for that. It's not because like people just woke up and decided, you know what, I really like podcasts. No, it's that they woke up after however many years or whatever the fuck it is that fucking happened of the mainstream media and the corporate media lying to people to get them to do what they want them to do. And then finally waking up to that fact and doing something about it, which is no longer watching or trusting these things. That's why we're at where we're at now. That's why podcasters and independent media have a seat at the White House now. So yeah, times be changing, brother. And I think it's a good thing because the more condensed that power is into the fewer and fewer coffers that it was in the past little bit, the more power that the people who shouldn't have power have. Like the more ability that they have to propagandize and to control the fucking narrative and demonize people, whoever it is that they need to demonize, and get their agenda across and move on to the next thing. So yeah, the more voices we have, especially the more powerful voices that are actually trusted by people, that are actually able to reach masses of people and make a difference, the better. Especially when those voices aren't controlled by UNESCO or, fucking Pfizer. Whatever it is. Anyway, let's keep watching this. This is interesting. It is interesting.
The sad thing is for everybody in this room, everybody in this town, everybody in this country knows that if the FBI and our DOJ had the type of damning information, hard evidence, bank records, etc., on the money laundering that this president, his family have been up to the last couple years, and their names were Eric and Don Jr., we wouldn't even be having this hearing. You know why? They'd be in jail. And this is exactly the type of thing I was talking about, Miss Murphy. And this is exactly why so many of your colleagues have had enough and they've become whistleblowers. Miss Murphy, what do you think about that? So many of your colleagues have had enough. What do you think about the whistleblowers that just said, I can't do it anymore? I can't cover for the organization, the institution that I work for because I didn't swear an oath to them. I actually swore an oath to the United States and the Constitution. What do you think about that, ma'am? Do you feel like they betrayed the institution, or are you glad that they're up here?
Sir, I appreciate the question. I'm proud and I'm happy that we live in a country where there's whistleblower protection acts.
She's
and people
lying
come
through her
forward when
teeth.
they think things have been done incorrectly. I support the FBI. I think the FBI does amazing.
Ma'am, I think they do some amazing work too. But I think we both know that its reputation is massively tarnished. And I think we're both glad that we have whistleblower provisions in this country. But I think if you weren't under oath and we weren't wearing these clothes and in this room right now and we were having a private conversation, I sure hope there's part of you that is embarrassed and disgusted with what the FBI has been up to. And I know the American people are. I mean, look at the movies growing up. You guys are in like every movie as the hero. When you were a little girl and you were watching movies growing up, did you notice that?
I like this guy. Who is this?
Those cool
Does anyone
blue
know?
jackets.
Yeah, I don't know who that dude is.
Anyone knows? Let me know. I fucking like this guy.
It's with the bright yellow lettering, the FBI on it. Was that pretty cool watching those movies growing up and those TV shows and now getting to work for this organization?
It's amazing to work for this organization. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Is there a part of you though that feels torn, ma'am? Like the whistleblowers that are coming up here now in droves that just say, I can't do it anymore. I didn't swear an oath to the FBI. Is there a part of you that feels torn or not at all? Ma'am, I'm asking you a serious question.
Sir, I'm very proud to work for the FBI. I think I stated that.
I know you are. That's not what I asked you, ma'am. I asked you if you feel torn.
Not at the least.
Not the slightest. Well, that's pretty sad, ma'am. That really is. And it really shows who your allegiances are to. It really does. And as somebody who served this country myself, I come from a very proud unit, the SEAL teams. I know that my allegiances are not to NSW, Naval Special Warfare. They're not to a SEAL team. And I am glad. I am so proud that we have men and women who see their oath to this country and they said, I can't do it anymore. I'm going to go try and straighten this out so that the organization that I love can maybe, just maybe, be turned around, quit being a partisan tool, and actually protect the American people, which it clearly is not doing. Right.
So I don't know who this guy is, but he makes some really good points. And if you guys don't know, who are these whistleblowers? What are they blowing the whistle about?
My mom says his last name is Kane.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know who he is, but I really like him. Like the way that he went after her was very measured and poignant, and it was smart. It was a smart way to fucking make his point, and I liked it. But yeah, who are these whistleblowers? They're the people who were talking about, like, you know, the FBI being used to go after parents at PTA meetings because they don't want trans stuff in the schools, right? It's FBI being used to go after Christian organizations to infiltrate Christian churches to see what's going on inside of them, just to like maybe try to stir something up or like get people to do something so that you can go after them after they do something, right? Kind of like what happened with the whole Gretchen Whitmer case, where there ended up that there were more FBI agents in the plot to kidnap the governor than there were actual people who were involved with it that weren't part of the FBI. Right? They paid for it, they planned it, and they got like 3 or 4 people to be like, oh yeah, like, and one of them was like mentally handicapped, Like, Jesus, dude. Like, you guys are you're really going beyond the pale here in what you're supposed to be doing. We got rapists, we've got murderers, we've got fucking criminals in this country that are hiding, that are, you know, successfully being criminals in this country. And you're going after some mother at a PTA meeting because she doesn't want her daughter turning into a son because the teachers are pushing it on the kids, you know? And like that's what the DOJ's been up to. Not to mention all of like the January 6th people and everything else. I mean, my God, man, do you guys remember like during January 6th, like when it was actually going on? I remember feeling like finally it's time that like the shoe is on the other foot, because we just lived through how many months of, you know, riots and crazy shit going on leading up to January 6th from the other side of violence, and Kenosha and Waukesha and all of these other places that fucking, you know, like the George Floyd stuff that happened, and, you know, cities burned, and, you know, people got murdered, and it seemed like no one was ever held accountable. And so it's like, okay, finally they'll know how it feels when, you know, some shit's out of control and it's a bunch of people that aren't politically on their side. And what did they do? They used the full force of the federal government to go after every single person that they possibly could up till the second that Trump got back in office. They were still posting it on fucking Twitter. Have you seen this person? Do you know who this might be wearing this hoodie? Because we're looking for him. We're going to get them because we're the FBI and we're so good. We're going to get these people that you... Like, fuck you, dude. No one has trust in these fucking organizations anymore. And again, this is why I'm glad Kash Patel's back. Like, he's going to get the vote. He's going to be head of the FBI. That it restores some semblance of hope that our fucking country might be able to turn this ship around and head in the goddamn right direction, and not be using political fucking prisoners and you know, going after people for political reasons, I should say. But if you broke the law and you happen to be a Democrat, I should hope that we have the fortitude to stand up in court and lay out the evidence and have your day in court where you can defend yourself, and we can either find you guilty or not guilty. And it's not because of a political thing. It's because you broke the fucking law.
His name is Elijah James Crane, and he is a representative in the second district in Arizona.
Okay. Is he Democrat, Republican? What is he?
He's Republican.
Okay, fair enough.
Yep.
And see, like his line of questioning there, I couldn't tell if he was Democrat or Republican. I could tell he was American. I could tell that he was like a Navy SEAL or whatever, you know, and he took his fucking oath to the Constitution fucking seriously, which I think every single person and member of Congress should.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, in the founding of this country, there were people who didn't. There were people who were clowns. There were people who were jokes. There were people who were out there for themselves. And they got tarred and feathered. And I'm not saying we should do that. I'm not saying that's right. But those are the people that we came from. They didn't take shit from anybody. And if they found you to be a fucking slithery, fucking fork-tongued snake, fucking slimy piece of shit, they didn't deal with you anymore. And again, I'm not saying that's the answer. We live in a different society than we did that back then, but my God, man, how far we've fallen from not standing up for any of this shit. Like, we fought a war because tea. Like, we literally went to war with the British because we're like, nah, dog, we ain't paying that tea tax. And now we're like, tax me harder, daddy. Like, please, like, Jesus Christ, dude. Things are different. We're different.
That tea was really good, though.
Very a little more than just a tea tax, though.
Whatever. You know, I'm joking and being hyperbolic, but yes. I love saying that to British people because they get all like, you don't even know your own history, do you? Like, you don't know what being hyperbolic. This is why we kicked your ass in WW. We keep having to save your ass in WW1 and WW2. Oh, man.
That's why I like to crack a Arizona tea every once in a while and then pour a little bit out for them.
So DEA arrests 2 illegal aliens. This was in Colorado with 130,000 fentanyl pills. That's enough to kill roughly 65,000 people. Yeah, I mean, the more of this we see, I think the better. How many people die of fentanyl overdoses in this country per year right now? Anyone know? The answer is we're up to roughly, give or take, about 100,000 people per year. 100,000 people die of these pills in this country at this point every single year. It's like 1 every 7 minutes, something like that. It's ridiculous, dude. And we need to do something to stop it. We need to do something to get these drugs out of the country, to be able to control our borders, to be able to like control who's coming in and bringing these things into the country, because it's the cartels. They're working with China. Like, we know how it's going on. We just need to fucking stop it. And how do you stop it? Well, you got to put a plug on that border. You got to make sure that no one can just cross. You got to have technology and people and assets. And it's not easy. It's not easy. I'm not sure how to solve it exactly, but at least they're goddamn trying to do something. Like, it seemed like the previous administration was welcoming people in, and that number got ramped up. I think it was something like 60,000 per year when Biden took office, and by the time he left, it's up to 100. So it almost doubled in its fucking severity in that amount of time. Oh, I'm missing super chats. I'm missing a super chat. Anyway, I'm glad to see the Dems stole the election in 2020. I'm so glad the Dems stole the election in 2020. And I don't know, like, do you guys think at this point that that's been proven, or has it not been proven, or what needs to be, like, where's the line for you of where that needs to be in order to say, like, yes, 2020 was stolen or was not?
I think there's more than enough evidence to prove that, and a bunch of sitting governors shouldn't be in office that have Democrats next to their name.
You guys know how I feel, so.
And I'm not saying we should go back and change anything. I just think that we should acknowledge what we know now. Like, you got to look at history and say, like, oh, well, here's what happened so that we don't do it again. You can't just move forward from history without looking backwards in the rearview mirror, because then you're doomed to repeat the same mistakes. But I think the Hunter Biden laptop story by itself is enough to prove that the entire thing was flipped by the media, not even like by cheating. It wasn't chicanery. It was just the media burying a story, social media fucking blocking anyone who posted about it. And then there was like 27 members of the FBI who came out and said this has all the hallmarks of being a Russian disinformation campaign. While at the same time, they had the fucking laptop. They did the forensics on it. They knew it was real, and they were just lying to everybody to get past the fucking election, to get Biden in office. Like, that's proof right there. I don't think you need more proof.
No, the fact of the matter is that, yes, the media went on a misinformation campaign. The Hunter Biden laptop was absolutely enough that would have flipped that election. And we know that because people have come out and they've done polls on this, asking people if that would have changed their mind. And enough people have said yes, that they know it would have flipped the election. On top of that, and not even getting into like fucking fake ballots and shit, leading all up to that election, and even in the weeks after the election, they continued to change the rules on voting in all these states and say it was because of COVID, but they literally were changing the rules all the way up to and past election day so that certain votes could be counted and certain votes couldn't be counted. Like, this was stuff that went through the court systems. This was stuff we saw in Pennsylvania. I think it was in North Carolina. There were several states where they actually wrote in new executive orders and things to go against the Constitution of how the elections were supposed to work, so they could change the rules. And they say, oh, well, it's because of COVID. So they again, not even getting into whether or not there were fake votes or all this other shit. There was so much that happened leading up to all of that, and even in the weeks afterwards, that clearly, had those things not happened, the election would have went the other way. So I think it's very, very easy to say that they stole the election, and it's very obvious that they did.
I will say this though. If Biden hadn't won in 2020 and hadn't had 4 years to run all of the Democrat programs and things that they wanted to get done, and methods and means and stuff like that, and drove us down the road to where we're at now, then Trump wouldn't have gotten in. Like, he wouldn't have had the mandate that he has now. He wouldn't have had the support of the people to do what he's doing now. He wouldn't have the votes in the House and the Senate. He wouldn't have had, you know what I mean? Like, his power would have been greatly curtailed through his second term. But at least at the beginning of his second term now, it's like he's got, I wouldn't say king power, but pretty goddamn close, because he's got, he's got the fucking House, he's got the Senate, he's got the Supreme Court, and he's got the executive office. I mean, he's got the entire government pretty much. So.
And he's also got better people in because of everything that he learned from last time. People that would not have been in the positions that they're going to be in for the next 4 years.
Yeah, and 4 years to come up with like lists of things that need to get done and planning for how to do things. And
I mean, Elon Musk wouldn't be on his side 4 years ago.
Right.
Joe Rogan wouldn't have been on his side 4 years ago.
And he wasn't. Joe Rogan was specifically neutral in everything, every single fucking election up until this one. Rogan's never come out for one person, or like he kind of did for Bernie Sanders for a little bit, but then regretted it, and then hasn't ever fucking helped or talked about anybody else positively or negatively since. So, I mean, I'm not saying like Joe Rogan is the smartest person and knows everything, but goddamn, man, like it took a lot for Joe Rogan to get to that point. Imagine the average American, imagine the average person who's just like going to work and trying to feed their kids and looking at the news and just seeing how crazy shit is and wondering if they can even put their kid in a public school and like, all of the things going on. And now Trump's in. It's like, man, I would feel relieved, I would think. And I think a lot of American people do feel relieved that we are at least trying to turn the fucking ship into a new direction. And maybe everyone doesn't like every decision that's being made. And maybe they are even they're blaming things on Trump that I don't even think is his fault. But like they have an argument now because he's in office, like the whole DC fucking plane crash thing, like he's instantly blaming DEI for the situation. And everyone else is blaming him because he's doing like these federal layoffs and he got rid of the head of the FAA. But I don't think the head of the FAA not being there for 5 days had anything to do with, a shift at a fucking at a I keep wanting to say hotel airport.
Now, I've listened to that whole fucking thing, and it was not the air traffic controller's fault at all. It was the helicopter's fault. 100%.
Well, there was just some confusion, right? I think the air traffic controller was trying to tell him like, hey, stay behind this jet that's going by. And there was one that was taking off and there was one that was going by. And he thought he was talking about the one that was taking off.
No, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
There was no jet taking off. There was two jets coming in at the same time, that one right in front of the other.
Correct.
And they were both they were headed in opposite directions. The helicopter and the two jets were headed in opposite directions. The CRJ-7 was in front. That's the one they hit. And so the speculation is that 3 times the air traffic controller got on and said, hey, CRJ-7, here it is. This is where it's at. And they said 3 separate times, they said, oh, yeah, we see it. Request visual separation, which in air traffic controller speak, requesting visual separation means we got it. We'll do it by eye. You don't have to keep telling us that there's a plane there. And 3 times air traffic controller was like, hey, guys, you're heading straight for this thing. The CRJ-7 is right there. Here's where it is, coming into runway 33, right up the Potomac. You're heading straight for it. And 3 times the helicopter was like, yeah, we got it. Request visual separation. And then they fucking hit it. So the speculation is, for some fucking crazy reason, unless it was on purpose, for some crazy reason, the helicopter did not see the CRJ-7, but saw the second plane also coming in to land on this along the same path as the CRJ-7 was. That's the speculation. It's because it was either that or they fucking did it on purpose.
Right.
I don't
They
know.
probably did it on purpose because there's a flight limit for helicopters above the Potomac River, and you can't go above a certain height. And I don't know what that is exactly, but the plane was well above that. Yeah, 200 feet. So the plane was at 350 feet. So at what point in time does this military helicopter not have the elevation chart where they can see, oh, I'm still above the Potomac, I can't go above 200 feet, but yet they go up to 350 feet and hit the plane? Come on.
Well,
I mean,
and that's where it gets into, okay, were they doing that because they only saw the second plane and thought that was the plane the air traffic controller was telling them about, or were they doing it on purpose?
but it's a military helicopter with like radar and very sophisticated instrumentals. It just seems fishy to me personally. Or they were drunk.
It's very fishy. It's very fishy what happened. But yeah, I mean, when you listen to the recordings that air traffic control released, there's no way it was air traffic control's fault. They warned them multiple times, minutes in advance.
Absolutely.
And we're like, hey guys, what are y'all doing? Basically, and every time the helicopter would come back and say, hey, we got it. We see it. So yeah, whatever the situation was, it was completely on the helicopter's plate. That was their responsibility. They fully accepted responsibility to them across the board.
What do you think? Okay, so let's go down that path. The federal government, the military, is in control, or at least has responsibility for their aircraft. And one of their pilots in one of their aircraft caused an accident that killed what, like 60 people?
41, I think, at the latest count, but yeah.
So what should the families of those people get from the government?
A lot of fucking money. A lot of fucking money.
Like, honestly, like, taken care of. Here's the house to live in. Here's fucking call. Because if your dad was here still, like, he would have been paying for the motherfucking house, and he'd be paying for your motherfucking college, at least. And that doesn't even make up for the fact that he's not fucking there anymore. So yeah, fuck that shit, dude. That makes me upset. Daniel said he's going to sign EO death penalty for trafficking fentanyl. Do you think you should get the death penalty for trafficking fentanyl into the United States if you get caught?
No.
Yeah, I actually agree. I don't think that you should just get the death penalty. I think that the federal government and the court system has shown how fucking corrupt and bullshit it is time and time again, to the point where I don't trust them to put people to death. I don't trust them to like make the decision. And yeah, there's some bad people who probably should be put to death, but you goddamn tarnished your fucking name. Your blind justice scales, or you're looking right at them. You're not blind,
I mean, look, the fact of the matter is, like, in certain situations, it will be enough, right? Like if somebody traffics in fentanyl and then laces some shit with fentanyl and gives that out to people, that's murder, right? Then you do get the death penalty, right? If you give that shit out to a whole bunch of fucking people and you essentially murder a bunch of people, you're going to get the death penalty anyway, because that's already a capital offense, right?
Okay, wait, hold on. Stop right there, though. What if you just bring in the fentanyl and you tell people, here's the fentanyl, and they take the fentanyl, and sometimes one of them dies?
Well, that's on them. I mean, you should still get charged for trafficking fentanyl.
So, I mean, I see the moral difference between being like, yeah, here's some weed. It's like fucking laced with a shit ton of fentanyl, and you smoke it and die. Yeah, that's kind of murder.
Yeah,
That's murder.
What's that? Go ahead.
Yeah, so fentanyl is super powerful, first of all, and it's pretty cheap because you only need a little tiny bit of fentanyl to feel it in your system. So I mean, you can get a fentanyl pill for a couple bucks. You can get an extra strength fentanyl pill for $5. You know what I mean? It's not super expensive for fentanyl, but if you were to be exposed to just raw fentanyl, that can kill you. And some people are allergic to even being and smelling the air around it. So I don't even know how it's being smuggled in the way it is. It seems kind of crazy, the amount of fentanyl and the amount of deaths that are coming from it, because I think, yeah, it's pretty potent. And, you know, obviously people are mixing it with cocaine, they're mixing it with meth, like you said, smoking it. It's pretty crazy. I'm a little afraid of it. Do you guys think that fentanyl is coming across the Canadian border though, or mainly the Mexican border? Because I don't see very many articles or news about fentanyl coming across the Canadian border. So I'm kind of just curious what you guys think about that.
I'm sure it's coming across both borders. If I had to guess, though, it's probably predominantly coming through the southern border and predominantly through the like cartel networks, because they're all set up to do it already.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's some of that going on in Canada. And I'm sure if you looked it up, like here, I'll look it up right now. Fentanyl, how do you even spell that?
FENTANYL.
Seized at Canadian border.
Did you guys already talk about the tariffs? I'm just curious too, because I know Trudeau was talking about how he's also trying to stop fentanyl in his country, and you know, his big thing about doesn't understanding the tariffs. So
yeah, I mean, there's several articles about fentanyl coming out. Like it's not probably as predominant as it is coming from Mexico, but it comes from Canada too. I mean, we got a way bigger border with Canada than we do with Mexico. You know, the problem is like they've got to bring it into Canada before they bring it in here. Just like they would have to bring it in through Mexico before they bring it here. But I think Canada has their own import laws and, you know, ports of entry and things that they have to go through too. So
yeah, and the Chinese own docks. They own docks on the coast, so obviously they're bringing it in.
And I wonder how much of it comes just directly in. Like it doesn't come from Canada or Mexico. It just comes on a boat or comes on a plane, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's some of that going on too, I'm sure. But ultimately, it's all coming from China. Like the fentanyl is produced in China. It's not produced here. It's not produced in Mexico. The cartels don't make it. It's made in labs in China. And ultimately, I think it's a form of warfare. It's like 21st century warfare, because they're killing, again, like 100,000 United States citizens. Most of them are, you know, teenagers or in their 20s or something. And they're doing it every single year. It's like the same thing as if you were going to war and we're losing troops heavily. Like 100,000 a year, bro. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
No shit. Calhoun says, fag, YouTube wasn't showing you live when I checked in. Stupid faggot YouTube. Read member chat. Sorry for cheating with Muffin Top. You were cheating on me? Read member chat. Well, okay, I just read your member chat. So you cheated on me, and then you tipped $2 and did a member chat. So I guess we're okay. I guess we're fine. Oh, and Saberwolf's out there. How's it going, man? Yeah, man. So yeah, fentanyl's a huge fucking problem, and I didn't see Biden doing anything about it. I'm not sure that Trump can solve it, but at least he's trying, and at least he's got the image of going after these people and doing something about it. So I feel fairly positive about it. Okay, you got to watch this. This is awesome.
What's up, guys? I'm making wit ricotta toast with maple syrup and pistachios. Oh, and we're not done yet. Since 2006, the NSA has been cataloging every single phone call you've ever made. Are you creeped out yet? Because we're just getting started. 2001. President George W. Bush orders the National Security Agency, or NSA, to begin monitoring the private communications of American citizens without warrants. The warrantless wiretapping program required no approval from courts and allowed agents to listen to international telephone calls and read emails. By 2006, the NSA is secretly collecting the phone records of tens of millions of Americans using data provided by AT&T, Verizon, and others. It is the largest database ever assembled in the world. The goal being to create a database of every call ever made. At the time, this was completely illegal, but no problem. Congress legalized it in 2007 and 2008. The NSA then launches its PRISM program, forcing 9 internet service providers to hand over billions of emails to government data farms. To help store all this data, the NSA built a data center in Bluffdale, Utah, costing $1.6 billion. It houses a storage capacity measured in yottabytes, each yottabyte the equivalent of 1 trillion terabytes. To put that into perspective, the entire Library of Congress could fit in just 15 terabytes. The NSA has since logged every phone call ever made in America since 2006. With these records, they're able to learn far more than from just listening to phone calls. According to a study published in the British scientific journal Nature, just 4 data points about the time and location of a phone call can identify the caller 95% of the time. And by using trilateration, intelligence agencies and law enforcement can now track an individual's location moment to moment. By using cell phone towers, authorities can track the altitude of a person down to the specific floor in a building. There's even software that exploits the cell phone data seeking to predict a person's most likely route. Since 2010, the NSA has applied sophisticated software to create social network diagrams to unlock secrets about regular calls to psychiatrist offices or late-night messages to extramarital partners, to be exploited for blackmail and espionage. According to documents leaked by Edward Snowden in 2013, the NSA has been using online sexual activity and visits to pornographic websites as vulnerabilities to be exploited. Wherever you are, the NSA's databases store information about your political views, your medical history, your intimate relationships, and your activities online.
Yeah, that's a great little video. Every bit of that's true. They have
some ricotta toast.
I could use some toast. I'm pretty hungry.
They have a log of every phone call that you've made since 2006. They have a recording of every international phone call that anyone's made since 2001. They have data on our location history, on our eating preferences. They read every email that you've ever had, any email that you've ever deleted, any message on, I'm sure, things like Discord or Twitter or wherever else. Everything you've ever started to type into a search box and decided to delete and get rid of because you're like, maybe I shouldn't search that because it's too spicy. Everything, dude. And they've got server farms and fucking data centers and AI that's searching through that information. And if you become a person of interest, like someone who's in the Eye of Sauron, God help you, man, because they know more about you than you know. What's the saying? Show me the person, I'll find the crime. With that kind of data on people, they have everyone dead to rights. They can take anyone to prison for any time, at any time, for whatever reason they want to come up with. And that's just the way it works now. And I don't like that, dude. I think that that's too much power. It's too much power for a government to have. And that puts humanity in a position that we've never been in before.
No matter who is in office, no matter what party takes over, one world order is coming. And there's not really much that we can do to stop it. It's going to happen one way or the other.
I think Trump could stop it. At least he could stop our participation in it. And I think that's why they're scared of him. And that's why they don't like him, because they know that we're on a track right now. And we have been on a track. And if Kamala Harris had won, we'd be still on that fucking same train track that Biden had us on for 4 years. And I feel like those Biden 4 years were catching up for what was supposed to be Hillary's 4 years, but Trump got in and fucked everything up. So now they got to fucking accelerate the whole plan to get us to where we were supposed to be. And now Trump's fucking it up again. It's like, I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe there is no way out. Maybe we're a mouse in a mousetrap. And we smelled the cheese years ago, and it was already over. We just hadn't realized it yet, you know? I don't know. I don't know, man. I'd like to think that there's still a way out. I think that being part of the New World Order is not preferable if you have a family, if you have children, if you value freedom, if you value individuality, if you value creativity, and if you value rebellion. And that's part of being a youth, right? Growing up, being a teenager, you rebel against the teacher. You rebel against your parents. You rebel against your older siblings. You rebel against the bully at school. That's how you grow up. That's how you become strong, is by being able to like stand up to things that are unjust and that you don't like or that aren't good for you and say, no, I'm not doing that. And that's what they're trying to pound out of us. That's what they're trying to beat out of us and tell us, oh, rebelling is bad. And, you know, like all of this, you know, going against society and going against the grain. And I don't even know what I'm trying to say, dude. Like, it's just ridiculous. It's all bad. And I don't like it. And it's not good for kids. And I guess that's my main worry, you know. It's not about me. We're already old, bro. Our cards have mostly been played. Like, our stories have been written. We already made our decisions. It's not about us.
I'm only halfway there. I got 50 more years to go at least.
Well, I don't know. Like, maybe we can download our consciousness into the fucking supercomputer New World Order thing. If it does take over, at least we could like merge with the machine and have some effect on it.
So we need more Musks in the world. That'd be fantastic. You can just chip us all and we'd be fine.
I was thinking about this, right? Like, if AI is based on everything that's on the internet and it absorbs all of the information that's on the internet to like gain its fucking personality and like way of thinking and stuff. And here I am, some small YouTuber who's made 242 episodes of the Gay Frog Chat. That I am some part of that AI. My voice has gotten through to it at some level because I've made 242 episodes talking to the internet and telling it how to program itself. Just a thought. What do you guys think about this? CDC immunizations. I was talking again to the doctor at work the other day. She's not a doctor yet. She's a doctor in training. She's really smart. She's really an awesome person. I really like her a lot, but she was saying how all of the fucking every single immunization is good and that you need every immunization that they recommend. On the left is what you and me and most people got as long as you were born before 1986. On the right is what you get if you're born in 2024. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Seems like
Kind
a lot
of
of us
explains all the confusion.
A lot of us survived in spite of the fact that we only had, you know, a couple immunizations. What is it? 5 immunizations that we had to get by the time we were 6 months old. Now it starts in utero. They do in utero injections into the child while it's inside of the mother's stomach so that when it's born, it's already got fucking immunizations against certain things. Look, Tdap, I don't know what that is, in utero. Flu shot in utero. COVID-19 shot in utero. RSV shot at birth or it's in utero or at birth for RSV. Like, holy fuck. And then the second you're born, you get a Hep B and a Hep B at 1 month old. Like, how many kids are getting hepatitis when they're born? You just exposed
if their mother has it.
Well, yeah. Then in that case, that makes sense. Like, your mother has hepatitis. Maybe you should get that shot.
Sure.
What if your mother doesn't have hepatitis?
Thank God.
I think most of our mothers didn't have hepatitis. I'm not sure, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say most of our mothers were hepatitis free.
Pretty sure my mom's listening. I can ask her.
And probably still are. I'm just saying, like, you would know if you have hepatitis when you're pregnant, and you'd be like, shit, I have hepatitis, and I need to do something for my child so they don't catch hepatitis because I have hepatitis. Right?
Yeah.
It's not like you walk around with the hepatitis and not know it.
The difference too, though, is like with us older guys, we played outside. I mean, I was a latchkey kid, so I walked to school, I walked home, I did what I wanted until the sun, went down. Then I had to be home. I played in dirt. I didn't have any vaccines. I didn't have that stuff. I could lick and eat whatever I wanted. I mean, there was pretty much no fear. I played in all the weather. I had to work when I was 15 years old. Like, there wasn't cell phones or anything like that. I wasn't attached to a computer screen. I had 4 channels on the TV. I mean, we grew up much different, and that's probably why we're so physically and healthy wise compared to the kids nowadays. And yeah.
Do you know who the healthiest children on earth are?
The Amish children.
Yeah, we've talked about this.
Yes.
And part of the reason is because of those things you just said, because they go around licking whatever they want and playing in dirt and being outside, and there's no TV there, not just 4 channels. There's no TV. So, yeah, like, they're actually real children. But the other part is they don't even get these.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Which is it? I think it's both. I think you're right. It's part lifestyle and choices, and like, we had to go out into the world and negotiate like assholes and bullies and people that are trying to jack you and stuff. Like 12 years old, I got like $5 and I'm trying to buy a bag of weed. Like, shit was real. That really happened. I almost got jacked. Okay.
My mom says no hepatitis is caught by drugs and sexual intercourse. Babies shouldn't get the shot. So,
yeah, your mom's right. Your mother's
good.
fucking wise. She's a wise woman. But yeah, dude, I don't know. I saw that and it kind of grossed me out.
Yeah.
Got popcorn. Congress summons Denver mayor to explain his refusal to work with immigration enforcement. So they're going to drag the mayor of Denver in front of Congress and grill him about what it means to be a sanctuary city, basically.
So this is going to start happening with states too. This is kind of what I'm a little bit afraid of, is what you're talking about right now, because Oregon's going to be in the same place. I'm almost positive Texas is going to be in the same place, but we'd have to ask one of our members. There's some states that aren't going to go along with all of these things that are going on here, and that could cause a real problem.
Well, I think if they're staying within the limits of the law, right, and they're not doing like real open insurrection against the federal government, what they would do is not assist. So if like ICE is coming in, usually what they would do is call local PD and whoever else, and they would get like a whole bunch of people and teams of dudes to come in, and like they'd have like their own local SWAT team working with FBI or working with like DEA or working with ICE in this case. And I think when it comes to ICE, they're just going to be like, you're on your own, which they can do. I think legally they can say, go fuck yourself. We're not helping you. And also when we arrest someone who happens to be on your list, we don't have to tell you about it. But beyond that, like if they actually like stand, like ICE comes in to deport somebody and then local police department and stuff gets in the way and tries to detain ICE on the way, like then you're right. That's where it gets fucking icy. That's where it gets fucking crazy. And I don't know if anyone's willing to do that or if it'll get to that point. I hope not. And again, I've talked about the deportations and stuff going on before with the idea that I don't think we're going to take it all the way. I think it's a negotiation tactic, I think, from Trump right now, right? Like, go hard, go visibly hard on people so that everyone thinks that you're serious and you're going to get rid of everybody. That way, some people are just like, you know what? I'm out of here. Peace. And other people are like, you know, they get caught up and, you know, do something stupid, and then they're caught up because they were going to do something stupid. But then at a point, you kind of like, you turn the faucet off a little bit, you know, you turn it back a little bit because you got rid of the bad people. You got rid of you got rid of the murderers, the rapists, the violent people, the you know, the thieves, the bullshit artists, all those people, get rid of them. And then it's like, like the rest of the people here aren't so bad. Honestly, they're, you know, Jose makes a hell of a burrito. I don't want Jose gone. All he does is make burritos. I know I'm kind of in this group. I'm not the most hardcore about this. There's other people in this group who are way more hardcore about get rid of every single one of them. And I don't agree with that.
And when I said Texas, just for Daniel's sake, what am I not smoking, first of all? And then once we get past that, I'm not so much talking about it for that scenario. It's more, you can't take guns away from Texans, and Texans already want to secede. So that's why I threw Texas in there. I was born in Texas, by the way, so I can talk about Texas all I want.
Calhoun says, read last chat, please, sir. Don't worry, they have too much data. There's no way they could possibly sort through that unless they start using AI. Oh, wait. Exactly, bro. Exactly. Because the point, where it was up until now is like, you didn't fucking get the Eye of Sauron upon you unless you did something to get the Eye of Sauron upon you. And the way it is now, AI is its own fucking pointer, right? Like you can get on its radar just because, I think. If they wanted, if they calibrated it, they know everyone who's breaking the law. I don't know, man. I don't know. Where are we at, though? Multiple sources tell Denver 7 investigates significant ICE operations could be playing out in Aurora as early as Thursday. Bro, some of these, hold on, I got to go to my reply.
Is that even allowed? Aurora is nowhere close to the border. Isn't it like within 100 miles of the border? It doesn't make any sense.
I mean,
okay, yeah, this is the one that I was talking about. Jefferson County Regional SWAT Team is serving search warrants on Friday, and this came out on like Thursday or something, or Wednesday. Arvada Police Department said there's a shelter-in-place order for people who were living in the area. And I was like, seems like you're warning people who will be swatted on Friday that they're going to be swatted on Friday. Seems like if anyone avoids being swatted on Friday because of this post, then goes on to hurt anyone else or damage or steal property, that you would be partly responsible. Right? All right, like let's say I'm running like a heroin operation out of my apartment, right? And they're like, oh, Inglewood, Colorado, there's going to be a swatting on Friday. I'm getting all my fentanyl or whatever the fuck I got. I'm putting it in the car and I'm going to my buddy's house and wait until Saturday. You know what I mean? I mean, if you're a smart criminal, that's what you would do. Or a paranoid one. I'm not sure. Maybe both. I don't know, man.
Still don't understand how ICE is setting up things like this in, like, are they setting up checkpoints in Denver and where you live?
I haven't seen checkpoints. I think it's more like raids. Like, hey, we got this group of people who we know are breaking the law or doing, or like someone called and reported there was a drug house here and we know that the people that are living there are illegals or something. I'm not sure, man. I'm not part of it. I'm reading the shit as you are. So there's that too. Like, it's not like I'm an expert on this, but that's my understanding.
Copy.
I think in a lot of cases, they've been surveilling these people the entire time Biden was in office, and they're just now doing their job to get them the fuck out of this country.
Gotcha.
Well, and again, dude, I think there's a significant number of people who are in this country who are here for the wrong reasons. They're here because they want to get free shit. They're here because they don't want to work. They're here because they heard that they could get free shit and not work. There's people who were here that brought drugs with them. There's people who were here because they were literally like emptying out prisons in Colombia. and being like, oh, look at all these murderers that we're having to pay for their fucking food and keeping them in prison all the time. We could just release them and send them to America. So there's a bunch of criminals who are here. You know, like there's a bunch of stuff that's going on, and like people need to be gone. There's groups of people, not groups, but there's individuals who are part of groups who need to be specifically targeted and gotten the fuck rid of. And then the other problem is we need to be able to close the door behind them. It's like, yeah, we can deport people right now, but they just pour right back across the border. Like we need to be able to like deport you and have some reasonable assurance that there's not going to be a way for you to get back in. So if we can do those two things, I'm satisfied. Get rid of the bad people, close the doors so they can't get back in. And I don't think that's unreasonable. And I don't even think that people who are here legally or are here and like citizens and happen to be Hispanic would disagree with that, you know? Honestly.
There was some Chinese girl that was here on a visa program for school, and she got kicked out the other day because she was part of the Palestine terrorist protests.
That's kind of funny.
Good.
Rossi Brawler single shot. That's gay. Why would you even have that? Is this Red Dead Redemption? Is that what we're trying to do? Is like the basic Red Dead shotgun that costs $199? Sorry, I was playing the other day.
My cousin got one of those for turkey hunting.
Lady Gaga. I couldn't tell you if I heard a specific song that Lady Gaga was singing, whether it was her or not.
Poker Face.
It's a great song. It's hilarious.
Alejandro.
What the fuck? You guys ever do this at work?
Yes.
Usually.
Yeah. Chill.
Definitely.
Hold on, I gotta grab a bicycle.
Pretty much, or some weights. I get tired often.
Oh my god. All right, well that's about all I had to talk about. If I keep scrolling, I'm gonna find something that's gonna get me kicked off of YouTube. I guarantee it. So I should probably stop. But yeah, you guys have any parting thoughts, questions, concerns, plugs?
I didn't get a response of how you guys feel about the tariffs on Canada and how that's going to affect us. I'm personally nervous about it. I feel like Canada is our ally, and they're very close to us. And I'm curious as to if anybody listened to Trudeau's response to what Trump did.
I haven't heard what Trudeau said, so there's that.
Okay.
But
I bet he tweeted it.
As far as Trump implementing tariffs on countries, honestly, I'm of two minds about it, right? Like one mind is we have to pay taxes as a country, and part of the taxes that you pay traditionally in this country have been through tariffs, and that's the way traditionally we paid taxes. And at some point in the past, they got rid of tariffs as much and put more of like an income tax on people. And you know, some people that hurts and some people that helps, and it's good for some people and it's bad for other people. But you know, the tariffs you can't really avoid if you're buying stuff, so there's that argument, right? But if he implements some tariffs and gets rid of some taxes, for us, the end users, everything's the same. If Canada and Mexico start implementing tariffs on our goods, that hurts us, right?
So yeah, they are. They're going to. He set a timeline. When you get time, not today, obviously, but when you get time, go back and watch what Trudeau said. He put a timeline for when he's going to implement things and start taking away some of the resources that we get from Canada.
So what I see here was we're kind of like a Mexican standoff, right? Like, we got a gun pointed at them. They got a gun pointed at us. No one's shot a bullet yet. It's an opportunity to make a negotiation. Like, I don't think Trump really wants to hurt the American people by having our goods and services being tariffed going into other countries, and like basically having goods and services that we have to buy being more expensive because we have to pay tariffs on them now, right? Ultimately, I think that's a lose-lose for Canada and America specifically. Mexico and America, you can make an argument because of the difference in labor prices, like whatever. But as far as Canada and America, you're right. But I think it's a negotiating tactic. I think it's a point at which you say, like, I'm trying to buy a car. You're trying to sell a car. You want $10,000 for the car. I don't want to give you $10,000 for the car. I want to give you less. So I come in and I say $5,000. And you're like, oh, you're all offended that I said $5,000. And you're like, well, $9,000. And that's in the direction I wanted, like maybe not exactly where we'll end up, but it's a negotiation. And until the tariffs are actually implemented, until it gets to that point where the negotiations have concluded and succeeded or failed, and now we're living with the consequences. Here's the deal that we made. Then I think we can talk about it. Until then, Trump's a negotiator, dude. That's what he does. He comes in and says $5,000 and offends everybody, and then you come back with another number, and then you meet in the middle. And I think whatever deal that he comes up with, trade deal with Canada, will end up being better for the American people than it is, or than it has been in the past couple of years. That's what I think.
Honda, in the back chat, I dropped a link to what Canada's counter tariffing.
And again, this would be, in my opinion, and I might be wrong, but this would be their counter offer. It's like, I said 5,000, you're like 11. Like, fuck you. Again, this is not where we land at. This is just where it's at. List of products from the United States subject to 25% tariffs effective January 4th, 2025. February 4th. So that is 2 days. Holy fuck.
2 days before it starts. There's more coming on the 20th, I believe, and the 28th, which is the last day of the month.
So what do we
Scroll
have?
down a ways, there's a list.
Live poultry.
And then listen to him speak when he does. And if you can, translate the French, because there's some interesting things in there that he says to the people. His people, of course.
It's all meat.
Maple
so
syrup
far.
is not. Come on, we have plenty of maple trees here.
Meat and milk. Now we're at some milk. Yogurt, milk products, butter, cheese, eggs, natural honey, tomatoes, citrus. There's a lot here. Holy shit.
Yeah, a ton of that shit here too.
And then, exactly. Most of this stuff we have here, but if you're not in a state that has that stuff, you're looking at a pretty big hike. I mean, eggs in Oregon are like $10.
Dude, we honestly, we benefit from Canada trading with us. They produce a lot of things because they've just got so much fucking land, bro. Like, they've got natural resources. They've got farmland for miles and miles. That are, I mean, it's only good during the summer, but
resources as well. Strategic resources that we need.
Well, that's what they're tariffing of ours.
Maybe Trump fucked up. Maybe he thought he would get a deal and now it's backfiring. I don't know, man. Maybe this is a chink in the armor. Maybe this is fucking, an example of Trump making a fucking huge mistake that's going to fuck us. I'm not sure.
I talked to my mom and she told me just give it a few days. Let's see what happens. He just got into office. And again, I've said that myself, like wait it out. But I want to see the economy do better, not worse. And it seems like we're going to war with our neighbors. And I just, it makes me a little nervous to see the prices going to increase dramatically for a lot of people.
Here's something else too, though. Like, Trudeau's on his way out of office.
Mm-hmm.
Was he voted out, or how did that work? Does anyone know? By whatever means Canada's fucking backwards system works, he will no longer be the prime minister for very much longer. At some point in the future, I'm not sure exactly how long, he is to be removed and someone else will be voted in. And so these would be the decisions that he makes now would be like his parting decisions. Like whoever comes in next, whoever they vote for next, would likely overturn most of the things if they disagree with him, if they vote in like an opposing party or something like that too. So that's another point, is like, this could be the death throes, because if any world leader in this world right now is directly working for the New World Order that you're talking about, it's Justin Trudeau.
Yeah.
And if there was going to be someone to fight against Trump who is directly standing against that New World Order, it kind of makes sense. So maybe for a short period of time, we might be fucked with the whole deal with Canada because of that reason. But if they actually get a vote and they get someone else in there.
He did resign, but the thing is like, again, it's already happened. He already implemented these things. So now it is up to the next person who comes in. We're reading the chat. It just, yeah.
Sorry, Go Shadow. Yeah, but why did he resign? Was it because he's so overwhelmingly popular and everyone loves him so much?
No, it's
or is it because everywhere he
over.
fucking goes in Canada, everyone's like, "Fuck you straight to hell, Trudeau." Like he can't even say hi to someone at an ice cream shop without like some dad coming up and putting him in his place. So that's why he resigned. That makes sense too. And I didn't
Maybe
know
he resigned
that.
because he doesn't want to give Greenland up.
He has nothing to do with Greenland.
I know.
Oh, okay.
Just a thought.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Again, I'm not sure. I can't tell the future. I don't have a crystal ball. I do think that whatever they're talking right now, be it in only 2 days, and I guess we'll find out by the next time we do a chat here what's going to happen with that, and we'll have at least some answers. But I think, again, I hope that this is just the beginning of negotiations between Trudeau and Trump, and that it will go better, and that if it doesn't go better, that not going better will only be temporary until they get someone else in there who's got more fucking sanity. So I guess that's where. And when it comes to Mexico, like Mexico has to jump through some hoops before they, but yeah, they can fuck us too, because we get a lot of stuff from Mexico. So I don't know, dude. Trump's walking a tight wire right now, man. He's beset on all sides by the inequities and the weakness of men. Blessed is he who I can't remember the quote. All right, guys.
It would be cool if we start making our own stuff and take care of ourselves. Yeah, that'd be cool. We'll see.
It is interesting to see how many countries are falling in line, though. Like what happened with Colombia last week or whatever it was, when they were like, "Hey, we're not taking these planes of people back," and he's like, "Oh yeah," and they're like, "Okay, we'll take the planes. Plus, here's my plane to put more people on." So, I don't know. I honestly, I don't think that we know what's going to happen. I think that the story that's being like, what's the word, shoved down people's throats right now is not the actual story that we're going to end up with. So, hold your breath. I'll let you know on Tuesday. But until then, deuces, y'all. I hope you have a good night.
Later, guys. Have a good night.
We'll see you guys next time. Later.
Peace.